The night was thick with silence, the kind that presses against your skin like a weight you cannot shake. Outside, the world seemed paused, but inside your soul, a storm was brewing, a one you hadn't yet fully recognized. It began as a whisper, faint and elusive, a feeling stirring in the quiet moments when your mind was still, yet your heart throbbed with restless unease. You thought it was your imagination at first, the fleeting shadows at the edge of your vision, the dreams replaying like an old film, the sudden chills crawling up your spine for no reason. But Archangel Michael was trying to reach you, not with a thunderclap or blazing sword, but through these subtle signs, these spiritual nudges. He spoke of a battle beyond the physical, a conflict that had been silently waged in the hidden corners of your life. Someone was walking in your shadow, someone who wore your face, but whose heart was a stranger to your truth. This was no mere coincidence. This was spiritual identity theft. A betrayal so deep it pierced the very essence of your soul. They smiled in your place, carried your blessings as if they were their own, and laughed while wearing the mask you never gave permission to wear. You had felt it, hadn't you? That drain, the invisible weight pulling at your spirit, the sudden coldness in relationships that once bloomed with warmth, the inexplicable loss of joy and the creeping doubt that clouded your every prayer. Michael's voice is steady yet urgent. You must awaken now. The enemy walks among you, cloaked in familiarity but driven by envy and greed. Your spiritual gifts, your kindness, your identity itself has been stolen and twisted. But this is not the end, because behind the shadow stands the light, unbreakable, unyielding. You are called to reclaim what is rightfully yours. But first, you must see clearly. The warning is clear. Watch the patterns in your life. Notice who thrives in your darkness, who disappears in your pain, and who seeks you only when it serves their purpose. These signs are divine pointers, guiding you toward liberation. As days pass, the pressure will mount. Isolation will try to convince you that you are forsaken. But Archangel Michael assures, this is divine separation, a holy pruning to prepare you for your next great awakening. And when the fog lifts, you will hear your own voice roar louder than ever before. Days blurred into nights, and the quiet unease within you grew louder. The shadows that once whispered now seemed to gather with purpose, like a storm forming just beyond the horizon. Your world felt unsteady, as if the ground beneath your feet had shifted imperceptibly but irrevocably. Archangel Michael's message became clearer, resonating deep within your heart. Prepare yourself. The crowd is coming, but not just any crowd. These are the souls chosen to bring restoration, to rebuild what has been broken. You sensed at first as subtle shifts, as strangers crossing your path with knowing eyes, unexpected calls from people you had lost touch with, doors opening where you thought they were firmly shut. These were not coincidences but carefully arranged meetings, divine appointments set by heavenly hands. Your neighbors, once indifferent, began to notice the change. Whispers fluttered through the streets of why were people drawn to your home? Why did the air around you hum with a strange light? Some watched with curiosity, others with envy, but none could deny the transformation unfolding before their eyes. Michael spoke softly yet firmly, the time has come for your home to become a sanctuary, a beacon of hope and healing. The voices that will soon fill your rooms are not mere sounds, they are prayers, promises, and proclamations of divine favor. You prepared your heart as much as your home, knowing that what was arriving would not be ordinary guests but messengers carrying gifts unseen by human eyes. Some would bring healing words that touch the deepest wounds. Others would carry opportunities wrapped in kindness and hope, and together, they would flood your life with abundance beyond measure. Even now, invisible hands were arranging the pathways, aligning souls with your destiny. People you had never met felt the magnetic pull toward your door, guided by forces they could neither explain nor resist. The weight of anticipation pressed on you, but with it came a strange peace, a certainty that this was not chaos but divine orchestration. Michael reminded you, do not fear the crowd. Welcome them, for they bring what your spirit has long awaited. The first knock would come unexpectedly, breaking the silence that once defined your solitude. Behind that door, faces both unfamiliar and comforting would stand, carrying the very answers your heart has prayed for in silence. And as they stepped inside, your home would become a living sanctuary of miracles, a sacred space where restoration begins. The knock was soft, almost hesitant, yet it carried the weight of destiny. Your heart leapt as you moved toward the door, every step heavy with anticipation and a quiet reverence. When you opened it, you saw faces that seemed both unfamiliar and yet deeply familiar, strangers whose eyes shone with an inner light, carrying the unmistakable aura of grace. These visitors were not mere guests, they were messengers of transformation, bearers of blessings long overdue. Some arrived bearing words that healed the wounds you thought time had buried. Others carried gifts of opportunity, wrapped in kindness and hope, unlocking doors you had believed forever closed. With each arrival, your home shifted, the air grew warmer, the walls seemed to hum with a new energy. Laughter began to echo where silence once reigned, filling every corner with joy and light. The furniture, the floors, the very atmosphere itself came alive, infused with divine favor. Archangel Michael's voice rang in your spirit. This is your appointed moment. The blessings that fill your home are not by chance, but by divine design. Every soul that enters is part of a greater tapestry woven by the hands of heaven. Your neighbors watched in awe, some drawn closer by the light radiating from your sanctuary. The energy was contagious, a hope sparked in their eyes, curiosity blossomed into faith. Your home became a beacon, a landmark of grace in a world often shrouded in darkness. Amidst the joyful noise, healing took root. Old hurts began to mend as whispered prayers and gentle embraces bridged gaps once thought irreparable. Conversations unfolded that carried the power to change trajectories, planting seeds of restoration and new beginnings. Yet, through it all, a sacred calm remained, a reminder that this was not chaos but holy order. The crowd gathered not to overwhelm, but to uplift, not to disturb, but to renew. Each presence was a gift, each voice a thread in the beautiful fabric of your rebirth. And as night fell, the glow of this divine gathering lingered, an eternal flame of hope burning brightly within your home and heart. As dawn broke, a new energy settled over your home, one that no darkness could touch. The gatherings had transformed your space into a sanctuary, a place where miracles were no longer whispered dreams but tangible realities. Archangel Michael's words echoed in your heart. Your home has been marked by heaven. It is a vessel of light, a beacon that will never be extinguished. You felt it deeply at the shift from waiting to receiving, from longing to overflowing. The blessings poured in not just through the visitors but through every breath you took, every corner you walked past. The faces that had come and gone left behind more than memories, they left behind a lasting imprint, a spiritual fragrance of hope, peace, and restoration that clung to your walls, your furniture, even the very air. Neighbors no longer saw an ordinary house, they saw a place touched by the divine, a landmark of grace in the neighborhood. Some came seeking the same light that had transformed you, others came to witness the miracle unfolding before their eyes. Your own heart began to heal in ways you hadn't imagined. Doors that once felt locked forever now stood wide open, relationships repaired, opportunities unveiled, paths illuminated by a golden glow. Archangel Michael said, "This light will never fade because it is fueled by divine will and your steadfast faith." Even in moments of quiet, when the house was still and the visitors gone, you could feel the pulse of this new life, a steady, unwavering beat of joy and purpose. This was not an ending but a new beginning, a chapter written in the stars, destined to ripple through generations, touching lives far beyond your own. You had become a vessel of divine favor, chosen not just to receive blessings but to become a source of blessing for others. With the house still humming from the echoes of the divine gathering, a profound peace settled over your soul, one that no earthly circumstance could disturb. You stood at the threshold of a new destiny, forever changed by the visitation that transcended human understanding. Archangel Michael's voice was gentle yet filled with authority. This is not merely a moment in time. It is an everlasting covenant between heaven and your life. The blessings you receive are eternal, woven into the very fabric of your existence. You realize that the crowd that once filled your home was not just a physical assembly but a spiritual convergence, a sacred alignment of purpose, favor, and divine destiny. The doors that open for you will never close. Relationships restored will continue to flourish. Paths that seemed blocked will forever unfold with clarity and grace. Your home had transformed from a simple dwelling into a sanctuary, a beacon of hope, a refuge for those in need, and a testament to the power of faith and divine intervention. Neighbors who once watched from afar now sought your counsel and presence. Drawn by the light that radiated from within you, you became a living testimony that miracles are not reserved for the few but are the birthright of those who trust in the divine plan. Michael reminded you, do not fear what lies ahead. The angelic host surrounds you still, guarding your steps and guiding your way. Your destiny is secure, your calling unstoppable. As you look forward, you carry with you the assurance that no shadow can dim your light, no trial can shake your foundation, and no enemy can silence the song of your soul. The story that began in silence has become a legacy, a powerful declaration that divine favor is real, abundant, and available to all who open their hearts. And so, with courage renewed and faith unwavering, you step boldly into the future, knowing that the crowd that came was only the beginning of a life forever blessed.